What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to T3G. My name is Dalibor, and this is a product review. Pretty straightforward. We usually do these. Today we are reviewing this Sony voice recorder. There's a bunch of ants around me, so you're going to see me moving around a lot. We are talking about this because this is about half the price of a H1 Zoom, and I'm recording it outside because I really want to see how good it is in loud situations. This is kind of one of those things that we're gonna figure out. You know, right now there's no wind muff on it or anything like that, so we've got wind noise, all that kind of stuff. I really want to see, put it through its paces, how it behaves in all these situations. Now, I will say it has some drawbacks for me personally. I like a little more fine-tuning options as far as how the input volume from the external mic, which we're going to test in a little bit here. I just like a little more options. This has 3 settings on the input, kind of low, medium, high, and you can put it in different scenes where you're in a loud situation. I have the scenes turned off right now, so this is kind of this theoretically should be just like a raw sample of everything. And I believe this is currently set to medium. I think it defaults to medium when you turn it on for the input volume. We're gonna switch over to this because I feel like I'm blowing out the mic right now with all the noise. So we're gonna switch over real quick. All right, so it did save my setting from the last time I recorded, which was set to low for the external mic. Maybe it just resets for the built-in mic. That's interesting. But anyway, this is now on the lavalier mic, the same lavalier mic I normally use. This is the Pop Voice, whatever, you know, I'll drop links down below and mark them on screen. But I really wanted to see kind of how it sounds with just this. I recorded a little bit of a video. I recorded a last video with this, so check that out. I think it's decent volume when you're in a pretty kind of reasonable room environment with nothing much else going on. This is definitely not a reasonable small room environment with nothing else going on. This is definitely a lot more going on, and I wanted to put it, like I said, through its paces. Now, this thing's got a few details that I truly enjoy. One of my biggest annoyances with the Zoom H1 and the H1N is having to take out the memory card. Now, granted, you could use a cable, but it's kind of not the same. This bad boy has, now watch this, a built-in USB. It's kind of nice. It's like, it's solid. You gotta actually use the control on the back here to move it. It's really, really nice to just be able to like plug it in, transfer the files, and you're good to go, right? It's not, there we go. I forgot we had airplanes around here. I don't know if you guys heard, there's something going on where a lot of people aren't getting on airplanes right now. I live right next to O'Hare Airport in Chicago, so typically we should have heard like 4 by now. Now as far as controls, you've got a pretty decent amount of them on the front. You've got your record, pause, nice big buttons. They're not easy to press, like you have to press them. They're also very easy to differentiate. So if you're kind of, you know, watching the camera or watching what's going on, you have the record button is recessed, so you can kind of feel where that is. The stop button is the only large flat button on this thing, so you're not likely to miss it if you need to just stop the recording. So pretty straightforward, pretty easy to deal with the controls. You got your power slider on the one side, you have your volume controls on the other side, as well as your micro SD slot, which, to be fair, I haven't actually accessed because of that USB pull-out, which is really nice. And then on top of that, you have some menu options and things like that on the front, as well as your media playback controls. This does have a speaker. As with most things this size, it's not a great speaker. It's nice kind of in a pinch to hear if you are recording and kind of how good it is, at least to a point. But it does also have a headphone jack. For 50 bucks, the fact that it has external input and the fact that it has a headphone jack, this is kind of clutch. That's why I really wanted to pick this up. So far, the audio experience has been pretty good. I actually like the sound that it produces with the external microphone. My only kind of caveat with the external microphone is that the port itself is not as tight as it is on like the H1N or the H1 even. It's just like, it doesn't feel like it's in there. It doesn't feel as secure. So I feel like I didn't push it in all the way when I push it in, which then is kind of like, do you second guess yourself, or did you actually do it, or are you pushing too hard now? You know, it's kind of like a weird little quirk, but it's something worth mentioning. Overall, as far as usability, pretty straightforward, pretty easy to use. It comes out of the box set, I think, to kind of the loudest setting, so it's going to pick up everything. So you do want to kind of fine tune those things to the degree that you can with the controls. The only kind of downfall there is the controls are not easy to find. The menus, not really the greatest. Like the mic in, for instance, the mic sensitivity for the external mic, it's kind of this thing that doesn't show up until you plug it in, and then if you manually go do it, It's sort of hidden in the menus. It's not really user-friendly as far as it goes on the menu side of things. I know we moved back in here because an entire family, husband, wife, 3 kids, all showed up on their bikes right in front of me and then just kind of stood there and stared at me. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna move. You guys clearly want the park to yourselves or whatever. Like I said on Instagram, and if you're not following there, you should be. It's that feeling when you go out and everyone else had the same idea about, oh, it's a nice day, I should go to the park. It becomes very difficult to find an empty park or an empty space to shoot in. But really, to finish off, this is kind of a nice deal for the quality you're getting, which I think is pretty solid. Even without the lavalier mic, I still think it's a solid choice. I think it gives you decent quality. It's going to be better than a lot of built-in cameras. So overall, I just don't think you can go wrong with this. It's half the price, so your starting cost, your cost of entry is way lower than it would be for an equivalent, I feel equivalent. Obviously, you get a little bit more fine-tuning as far as menus and controls and things like that, but otherwise, pretty much equivalent device. It just happens to not be like the popular one. This kid is practicing how to ride his motocross bike. Now he decided to circle me for some reason. All right, well, that is what it is. Anyway, the only other thing I wish this had was a rechargeable battery. Right now, it's a AAA battery on the back. Those will obviously go out. I bought a whole stack of lithium batteries, so I shouldn't have a problem with that for a while, but I just think if it already plugs into the computer, just put in a rechargeable battery. Like at that point, I would have paid the $100 to have it be rechargeable and plug into the computer directly. Like it just would have been a nice all-in-one package. But you got to take your hits when you go under the $100 mark. Overall, final word, solid buy. Definitely a solid buy, especially if you're just getting in and you want to increase your audio game and you don't have $100 but you got 50. This is the way to go. I've got the Amazon link down below if you use that. Of course, it helps us out and I appreciate it. That's gonna be it for this one. Nice little budget option, and we're always about the budget options around here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.